From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News this Wednesday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, the nationwide rollout of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine moves forward, and there's new information that the Moderna vaccine appears to be effective. The FDA report could clear the way for Moderna to be authorized for emergency use by the end of the week. In Montana, the Pfizer vaccine arrived at Benefice and the Great Falls Clinic and in Helena at St. Peter's on Tuesday. In Billings, it arrived Monday to St. Vincent Healthcare and Tuesday to Billings Clinic. Both St. Patrick's Hospital and Community Medical Center in Missoula received the vaccine Tuesday afternoon. Well, Montana State University in Bozeman is now approved to be a COVID-19 vaccine provider for students. MSU had to show it had access to sub-zero freezers to store the vaccine and backup electrical power. Now, Associate Vice President for Student Wellness on campus, Jim Mitchell, says he's planning as far as he can because it will be a complicated process to store and administer the vaccine. Federal and state governments will decide timings and priorities for when and who gets the vaccine. Well, predicted to be among the last in the state to receive the vaccine, Kalispell Regional Healthcare got its first supply a day earlier than expected. But shots won't go into any arms until Thursday. The single box delivered to the hospital holds 975 doses of the Pfizer vaccine. After delivery, the vaccines were safely taken to the hospital's cold storage unit, which has the capacity of holding more than 26,000 doses. Distribution will go to frontline healthcare workers first.
A large space set up here at Kalispell Regional. We're going to have 2 days, both Thursday and Friday, from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. that are available for immunization. We're going to have 6 different immunization stations within these rooms, and then we're going to observe people for 15 minutes after they're immunized.
And Dr. Nelson says the hospital expects to receive its second supply of that vaccine next week. Well, at this hour, health authorities across Montana report 873 deaths related to COVID-19. 3 of those deaths just reported today, 1 in each Yellowstone, Lewis and Clark, and Ravalli counties. New today, there are more than 75,000 cases now in our state. That number was surpassed. A woman in her 80s died in Yellowstone County Tuesday, bringing the county's total to 145. And the Gallatin County Attorney and Health Department are suing a Bozeman bar, hoping the court will force the owners and staff to follow local orders and close at 10 p.m. Witnesses for the Rocking R bar say the business is defying the order as a way to keep staff paid. But the health department called witnesses of its own during Tuesday's hearing. Medical experts who talked about the dangers of the virus and say the health order is doing the job and slowing the spread. Finally, when the bar's owner took the stand, he explained the challenges his business is facing right now.
They were all nervous. They were concerned how they were going to pay their rent, how they were going to pay their tuitions. And I'm proud to say we made a commitment to pay them.
The hearing will resume later today, and the judge will decide whether she wants to make a ruling today or wait until a later date. Well, it's time now to check in on the weather scene with meteorologist Ed McIntosh. Good afternoon, Ed.
Hi, Jeanelle.
How you doing?
Well, let's talk weather, shall we?
Okay.
Let's take a look. Western portion of the state, we're going to be talking about some potential for snow showers off and on over the next few days. And this could certainly cause some slick conditions around the area and some blowing snow, especially when you start looking down the east slopes of the Rockies. The winds will be much stronger there. We started to see some of the winds. We'll take a little bit of a lull, but check out some of the winds by the time we start getting into tomorrow afternoon, especially in that area from the Rocky Mountain front, those areas from Great Falls to the west and north, particularly strong winds by tomorrow afternoon. Closer look at the short-term and the longer-term forecast details just a few minutes from now.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, there's a new man set to take charge of the Montana Highway Patrol. Attorney General-elect Austin Knudsen announces Steve Lavin of Kalispell to lead the agency. Laven will take over as the next colonel. Laven was born and raised in Helena and graduated from Montana State University in Bozeman. He is currently a major with the patrol with 28 years of service. Now, he also served 4 terms in the Montana legislature. Knutson says Laven's integrity and devotion will serve Montana well. In a lawsuit, a federal lawsuit, conservation groups are challenging a recent decision to not treat wolverines as threatened in the northern Rockies. Some scientists believe there are fewer than 300 wolverines left. The decrease in numbers are blamed on the building of new roads and winter activities. Climate change is also impacting the high country snow that wolverines need. Now, 4 years ago, Judge Dana Christensen sided with the conservation group, saying the wolverine should be placed on the endangered species list. Now, groups including Alliance for the Wild Rockies and Wild Earth Guardians are filing a new federal suit to block a decision to formally withdraw that proposal. Well, a Laurel man admits he tried to fraud the government out of $35,000 in CARES Act funding. Now he faces up to 20 years in prison and thousands of dollars in fines. 37-year-old Matthew Welch pleaded guilty to wire fraud charges. Welch filed an application seeking money for payroll and other costs for his contracting business. However, on the document he wrote he had no pending criminal charges, which was not true. Welch had court dates in both Montana and Wyoming for several alleged crimes. Prosecutors believe he was planning to use the PPP money to pay off restitution in one of his cases. Well, scams are appearing more realistic with official-looking websites, so pay attention. There are ways to tell if it's too good to be true. Make sure you research a site if it's offering a significantly lower price. Scammers are buying up ad space, so be careful when clicking on targeted ads. Instead, look up the name of the company to see if it's legit. You can also, of course, use the Better Business Bureau's scam tracker. Well, Montana will receive more than $120 million of federal aid to expand high-speed internet in rural areas, but there's a catch. A big portion of that money is allocated for technology and a product that hasn't been widely tested. Almost 60% of the funding will go to Elon Musk's company, SpaceX. He plans to deploy something called low Earth orbit satellites and promises to provide satellite internet to 30,000 Montana locations without internet access. But questions remain about internet speeds and if it will even be enough in Montana.
We don't know if there's going to be data caps. We don't know what the cost of this product is because we don't have a commercial product out there. So there are a lot of questions about what the LEOs or LEOs can deliver.
Now, this process is still a ways away. Experts predict it could take up to 6 years to get the internet up and running. Well, the Fort Benton Police Department is asking for the community's help in designing a new police patch. The department is accepting designs until January 1st. There is no design requirement, but the chief says he would like it to have the word Montana on it. We have more news ahead on your new news. A group of swing choir singers in Glasgow get creative after the pandemic stalled their in-person concert. We show you how the group is making the best of it. But first, meteorologist Ed McIntosh is in next with your statewide weather forecast. Don't go away.